Hello my friends, welcome to another edition of the PG Perspective. I just want to give a quick thank you to everyone who actually watched my last one, which was my very first one, and all the love and support that one got. You know, it was just an idea I had kicking in the back of my head, and I decided, you know what, let's go do it. Let's go film it, let's go stand in front of this screen here, and this Mario statue, and Banjo-Kazooie over here. It's kind of nice. So thank you all for watching. So with the whole big debacle with the Retro VGS Coleco Chameleon, which has been covered by people like Retro Gaming Tube 85 who are far more talented than I am at covering it, it kind of sparked something in me that I wanted to talk about, and that was clone consoles. These are like the Retrons, the Twin FCs, the Superboys, the Retro Dual Portables. Basically consoles that allow you to play old Super Nintendo, NES, Genesis, Game Boy games, things like that. So one of the big talking points with these clone consoles is, does it give you the genuine gaming experience? I'll give you an example. I'm 22, and one of my favorite things to do is just sit down with my Nintendo 64 with my original 64 controller and play original 64 games. So I enjoy doing that. Do you feel that it kind of takes away a little bit if you're using like a Retron 5 and its controller to play an original cartridge? For me, I don't necessarily think so, because sure, it would be nice to, you know, play with the actual controller, which the Retron does allow, but say, you know, yours just broke or you can't find another one. As long as you get to play the game, I feel, on the original cartridge, that in my opinion is what matters to me, is being able to play the game. Because sure, you can see like a bunch of reproduction cartridges of expensive games, but it's just so much easier now to get a reproduction clone console like a Retron, and it's actually going down in price too. I love my Retron 5, and I traded in a bunch of games and got it at just a mint of a price. So that is the cool thing now with clone consoles, is with the Retron 5 and other systems, they're starting to be able to play via HDMI. So you can play all these NES games, Super Nintendo games, Genesis, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Super Famicom, I think I just ran the gauntlet of everything the Retron 5 can play in stunning HD. That is freaking cool, dude. Like, being able to play it on like this TV behind me, which you can't see, but there's a TV there, in full HD is a freaking blast. Now, another interesting point that I was kind of thinking of, again with the whole Retro VGS Coleco Chameleon, is disc-based clone consoles. Yeah, we've yet to really kind of see that yet. And it kind of brings me to the question is, do you think we'll ever see it? Now, I know that like the Saturn and I guess the Sega CD are kind of just hard to actually get like emulated. I think there's one for the Sega CD, but I'm not really sure about the Sega Saturn. You guys can correct me on this if there's like a better Sega Saturn emulator, but I think it's just kind of hard to get actual disc-based emulation. You know, like you put your physical disc into like a clone console and getting it to work. I don't know if that's kind of been perfected yet, and I don't know if we are going to see it in like the too distant future. I mean, we're probably just going to get like straight up just, you know, pure boxes, almost like an Ouya, just loaded with emulators that we can kind of get that. I mean, I know it already exists kind of, but it's going to be the point now, I think, where by the time we get to mastering like disc-based emulation, it's already going to be like stockpiled into an emulator box. Would I like to see one? Sure, I'd love to have, I guess, a cool Saturn one. That way I don't have to go hunting for a Sega Saturn or find a Sega CD to get with a Genesis. I don't even have a Genesis. It would be pretty awesome. I don't think we're going to see it in the future. It would be nice, again, but it's just one of those things where I'm just thinking about it, and I don't know if it's really going to be plausible. So those are my thoughts on clone consoles. Of course, I want to hear yours. I want to hear what your thoughts are on future clone consoles. Like, are we going to be able to get disc-based one? I want to hear your thoughts on the Retron 5. Do you like it? Do you think that it delivers the genuine gaming experience? Let me know all down below. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you want to see more. And of course, everything's an opinion, and this is my PG perspective.